I mean, we can still speak if we need to.
Yep.
Because I'm unmuted at the moment, but I'm unmuting
But
it.
they're recording, just Hi, team.
Hello, hello.
Hey, you on duty today?
I'm on duty. Both
How is-
here and
How is Oregon?
with track D1 as well. So I'm multitasking.
What's new in Oregon?
What's new
What's new in Oregon?
in Oregon? Oh, I'm actually in Amsterdam.
Oh my God!
Catherine's in Oregon.
Oh
I have no
my
idea
God.
how's Oregon is doing. I know half of my team is over there, but we're all spread out.
Yeah, you're in
So
Amsterdam.
interesting.
So you know exactly what will be my day like. You already passed it.
And we are on live sound for the world here.
Halfway, yes. I'm not sure if my colleague Scott is joining this session as well, or is just me?
Just you, that's all we need.
Okay. I hope I can help. I know he's the project manager for the event.
Too early for a manager to get up.
Okay.
One minute. Both drinking the Kool-Aid today.
That's our payback for A.
Ruth from Amsterdam.
Yes. No, I remember because it
See, I'm gonna start. Well, good morning, everybody, at least in our part of the world. And Yadin, you came back.
How can you not on such a great day?
Wow, it was kind of a long day yesterday for us here and for everybody else, but 8 a.m. to 7 p.m.
I tell you, it is still too short for what we want to do. It's great. It was a great day and a half. I am so enthusiastic and so energized. I would love to share the highlights.
So that's why you went out running all night long?
In the heavy rain, yes.
About 11 hours yesterday, just went like, just like that. Well, you know, yep, we're back again and we're glad to be with you folks. And this is, you know, the opening ceremony of the last day. So we're excited about that. You know, a couple shout outs that I need to do. One is thank you, Yahweh. Thank you to the Creator because she has moved Yadin and I through many miraculous situations just to be here. We won't share all those, but there were many times, you know, when we needed to counsel because of COVID and transform this into the virtual and, you know, a financial challenge here and there, but it's all worked out and we give thanks to him. And also we're going to do a shout out to my wife. It's her birthday today and she's forgiving me and I'll celebrate with her tomorrow.
Yay! Happy birthday.
Oh, and by the way, yesterday we all remember Dr. Jim Weir, 85 years old. So, I'm not going to name numbers, but somebody else's birthday is in 1 month on November 25th.
Oh,
So an early happy birthday to my buddy here. Early happy birthday, Yanni. You know, the thing that comes to mind as we reflect on the past couple of days and what's going to happen today is voices. There have been so many voices. You know, apparently I'm somebody who likes to count things. You notice that. And so something like 100 voices the past 2 days. have been expressed from around the world. And today, literally another 100 voices, another long day, but it'll go by so quickly. So we're just so thankful that we have been able to enable and get out of the way of the global clinical engineering community as they share their voices, share their hearts, share their minds. So.
And that's exactly how the first day and a half are reflected here. This morning, we starting the last day of the 4th International Clinical Engineering and Health Technology Management Congress, but we already completed very successful day and a half with significant highlights, because you're talking about 100 abstracts that were delivered, debated, discussed, questions and answers and interaction, and show that our community is going to look at 100 additional similar presentation today with very appropriate subject, from health technology management, health technology assessment, health technology policy and regulation, digital health, the cybersecurity, and what the program built, reflecting very, very well about what is happening to us. And what is happening to us is the results of many years of collective efforts. Listen very carefully, results of many years of collective effort. What do I mean by that? Year after year, we call each other and we say, here's this Congress that Society X or Society Y is doing. Let's have a track about clinical engineering. Let's discuss, let's bring the state of the art. Let's see where the compass is showing us where we need to go. And we did these sideline tracks, I call it. The flag on the building was different. It was not clinical engineering. And what I see today, the result of these years of effort, that we have built the village called the Clinical Engineering Village. Different families, different kids, different grandparents, different animals, different pets, and all together is the Clinical Engineering Village that has a center pillar with the clinical engineering flag. So the effort of all these years is now we as a family, as a village, have our community, have our congregation of knowledge, expertise, and compassion. And this last day and a half proved to me that we are surrounded by such dedicated, passionate, and desire to service nature people that it's unbelievable. And there is no way back. There is no way back. From now on, it will be always clinical engineering profession. It will be always clinical engineering Congress. It will be always clinical engineering credentialing. We will continue this march because there's no way back. And there are just new stations down the track for this train to go and visit. I'm excited because we started yesterday, or even better, half a day before that, with getting together and figuring out what the global community, the village of clinical engineers are looking for as far as the most challenging topics. We ask you beforehand, prepare your national report and let's discuss it. And then we brought on top of that what we have done 2 years earlier in 2019 in Rome at the 3rd Congress, and came up with a list of challenges facing the profession. And we set up action plan to go after that and to move the train further down the track. And this time, day and a half ago, we brought it back up and we said, let's validate. Let's see if those challenges are still as important and on top of the list as they were 2 years ago. And in addition, let's modify it by new challenges that may have been added since. For example, COVID-19 was not on our calendar, not on our notes in 2019. And like anybody else, it hit us out of nowhere and completely chaotically changed our world. But there is good outcome to that. We learned that no profession is an island. We learned that no country is isolated. We learned that we need to be working together on a single team with a single mission. Best quality possible, high, safe environment, and optimal management of technology. I know that we had trouble with technology assets, especially relating to space, isolated space for patient care, especially relating to breathing apparatuses, especially relating to oxygen supply, to personal protection gear. But we have learned that we need to better manage that. We need to be able to better connect with the decision makers and policymakers about how we're going to warehouse those assets and what is our role in that. So with that, the Global Clinical Engineering Summit a day and a half ago validate and modified things that we were focused on before the COVID. Now we have additional list. It's very important to visit the subject and to see what have changed and what we would like to do about it. We continue after the summit with workshop on topic like cybersecurity, extremely important to everybody, especially in healthcare. We got one of the best teachers available around, and they conducted the workshop. We have another workshop on how to write a paper. In clinical engineering profession, we must write the evidence. We must write the case studies. We must publish, and we must bring those to the table when we discuss with other professions. Then we went into a regional meeting that were classical focus on the region issues, less than on the global issues. Some were similar to what discussed in the summit, in the Global CE Summit. Others were much more regional. But the idea there is, how can we get the clinical engineering community and this village to go to the next village, to other professions, to Ministry of Health? And I'll ask in a moment, Rosanna, who is here and was in that regional meeting, to give us the highlights so you will have the flavor of what was those regional meetings are all about. And then we ended the day with the first annual event of Global Clinical Engineering Alliance that sees a mission to put up the network and the bridges between national societies of clinical engineering and connect them with other professions, with the International Association of Cardiology, with the International Association of Anesthesiologists, with the International Hospital Federation that Tom has worked so well on building the bridge with them. So it's between us and the rest of the team. We haven't done that too well in the past. Now we are. So those are the highlights of the first day. And then we went into the rooms and have our 9 tracks.
And I'll mention about that. Also on Sunday, we also did digital health. So we talk about these topics. We did digital health
Correct.
education, and then
Correct.
9 of those 12 health technology challenge topics yesterday, 3 more coming today, along with some special topics: women in clinical engineering, industry innovations, what can national societies do, what have they already done, and several other important topics, Yadim. So back to you.
Absolutely. I'm glad that you filled in about digital health. So with that, I'd just like to give a couple minutes to Rosanna, who is here, and see if we can get just the flavor of what does it mean, a regional meeting and what is the purpose?
So I give you Rosana Rivas from Peru.
Thank you. It was a valuable, very valuable session, intense. Some highlights are, of course, related to Mexico and the amazing work Senetec is been doing with the MOH there. And they have developed really a nice intelligence management of information. They went with the regulation, all focus on medical devices, but also in best lessons learned. And they are expanding now among the country, which is not easy because, of course, each state is different, but the complexity is being managed very well by Senetec among the years. Senetec is already a reference in the region now for all of us. Then we have Colombia, and they have an amazing work with HTA, HTM, and HTP also apply to medical devices and other technology based on focusing on innovation.
And those of you not up with all of our acronyms, of course, HT management, HTM, HT policy,
Thank
HTP, HT assessment, HT regulation. So keep going, babe.
Thank you very much. Yes, good point. So in Colombia, the work is being supported very much with these nodos, which are the networking created in the period of Antonio Hernandez, inspired in Antonio Hernandez, and now is going on very well, as Andrea Garcia mentioned in the session. Argentina, by their side, represented very well by Marcelo Lencina, reminded us how much they work among the crisis, and also how they learn to make webinars and exchanges and discussions about what are the best lessons learned in the middle of the crisis, but also in partnership with colleagues from US, colleagues from Spain, colleagues from Mexico. They make these sessions, Yadin, very useful and valuable, and take the inspiration from Tom as a motor to keep on going. Then we have from Venezuela and Colombia, and Bolivia, initiatives that are being doing with a lot of efforts, and of course they are going to escalate. Peru, by their side, we are working very hard on the public sector to divulgate more what health technology management is, what health technology planning means, because there we're going to start with medical devices and health technology assessment. And they realize, MOH, that for that to happen, they need very much to understand what health technology is and what is the relationship between health technology management and health technology assessment. They cannot do it immediately like that. So this is more or less the highlights, and the time is not enough, as you can imagine.
I appreciate you able in such short time to give us the flavor. That was the intention.
Great job.
Then, as we went to yesterday, we had the opening ceremony, and we have a very interesting break during lunch with WHO and Adriana Berumen Velasquez giving us the highlight from the priorities and needs of WHO.
Yadin, you know, we also began to see the work of our great sponsors yesterday. In the morning, R0, Grant Morgan, CEO, accompanied by his colleague Lucas Phelps, that is with us. And then in the middle of the afternoon, we had Heidi West from Zoom for Health talking about the incredible work they're doing, and more of that today. Helium, another sponsor, will speak this morning, and our own Danielle McGeary of AMI, Vice President of HTM, will speak this afternoon for AAMI. So the sponsor work in addition. Back to you.
And the tracks, those were amazingly successful because, like the rest of you, this is a new experiment, new experience, experiment and experience for the clinical engineering community. All our meetings so far were physically face-to-face. This is the first time we're doing such a Congress virtually. And It was amazingly impressive to me to see moderators volunteer to physically come here to AMI headquarters, I will call it the war room of the Congress, and volunteer to collaborate with virtual moderators and make sure that the room is moving through the program as scheduled. I would like to say that Rosanna Rivas flew all the way from Peru just for this. Wayne Morse flew from Seattle just for that. Frank Painter drove, although he's telling me the car is driving itself these days, he drove all the way from Connecticut down here. And I'm telling you, this is not something that we pressure people to do. When we called on Jenna De Francisco and asked her, would you come, please, can you? There was no hesitation. She's here in the room and she is helping us to make this effort very successful one.
And we'll talk about, Toby Clark. This is the week he's retiring, but he came. He flew down from Vermont. And Amanda Frank drove up from North Carolina. We'll talk more about her in a moment. But what a wonderful crew. Antonio Fernandez drove over from here in Metro Washington.
Across the river, yes.
That's right.
So I would like to mention that you see behavior and characteristics in the clinical engineering community that were there all the time, but never surface. And now we're seeing it, and we need to make a decision. Is virtual meeting is the way we're going to move next? Is it going to be a combined platform, or we're going to go back to physical conventional congresses?
Well, Yadin, before we come to that conclusion, we need to look behind the curtain for a few minutes. And I don't know if our sister Calroy from UK is able to be online, some internet challenges there. So she may not, but we'll talk about this incredible challenge she took on in a moment. But we do have Luis Fernandez. So Luis, come online, brother. Tell us some of your stories there.
Okay, so where do I start? The Zoom events platform is an amazing platform that has been recently developed by our colleagues and sponsors from Zoom. Well, basically all the experience that you guys have had as attendees, as speakers, and as physical speakers there at the DC area, well, it makes it really, really close to what a real two-phase event has been. You've been able to see the lobby. You've been able to also see all the tracks. If you want to jump from one session to another one, you can do so. And it has been an experience for the CED and the GCA team to work with Zoom in this new normal and in this new modality of events. So it has been quite an experience, and hopefully everybody has had the chance to see and appreciate the true value of these new platforms and tools that we have today.
And Luis, we'll just we want you to say more, but so how did you get to interact with them? They're our sponsor, and we're working together. Sure, we know that, but there were, as we said yesterday, 210 pre-recordings that needed to be loaded. Now, you, brother, got to do the loading of a lot of that, but where do those recordings come from? And that's where we talk about the Secretariat of CED and a close team member of GCEA, Dr. Calroy Stavriano. She and her team of CED interns recorded 210 of our voices. And oh, by the way, we did that in the last 4 weeks. And oh, by the way, one of them came in this morning that we hope will get loaded in time. But can you imagine, getting that many reservations and then setting up those times and getting a recording that is well done? We wanted to be able to deliver excellence, and Calroy and her team just did an amazing work getting that done. And, we all really owe her to get them loaded up, and for Luis to get them loaded in, We owe both of them this incredible round of applause.
Definitely, it was quite an effort for Caleroy, Samantha Alvarado from Mexico, and also Alejandro Zavala from Honduras, which are our interns working on this team.
And more, but you're right,
Yeah.
every one of them.
It
Luis,
has-
so then you had this small marketing effort.
So as of today, we have 2,459 registrants. And again, as Tom mentioned, it has been
Let's stop there for a second. Say
sure
the number again.
2,459 registrants. So
So
it-
Luis, when we've been talking about this for months, but when we got really sort of serious about it there in early September, what were you thinking?
well, when you said the number 1,500 registrants, it was a challenge, and I'm really happy that it was not only an effort of the marketing team, but also the board and collaborators that were sharing constantly this event with their colleagues. So we have a very, very diverse attendee list and registered list. So I'm just really, really happy with the registration.
So thank you. We've got one other, though, a special acknowledgement, and Jenna DeFrancesco, come on down. And I'll tee up some of your presentation.
Great job, Luis. Thank you. And Caleroy, hopefully you are on the line and able to hear how much we appreciate the effort. Thank you, Caleroy.
Hi there. Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're from.
Right.
How are
yeah.
you doing, Yadin?
Oh, I'm starting the day.
How's your
I'm
Congress
getting-
been so far?
Awesome.
Awesome.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
If you guys can't see it, or you may be able to see it where you're from, but Yadin has the snazziest suit jacket here at the Congress. And he's also done multiple tie changes a day. It's been very impressive.
He is kind of a fashionista.
Using virtuality to the extreme.
There you go. So I have the privilege this morning of making a special acknowledgement of contributions for IFMBE CED volunteers or interns on behalf of Tom and Yadin. So a little bit about our volunteer internship. We've had 3 classes of interns, and really they run a lot of projects behind the scenes. You heard Tom talk about the interns assisting with the recordings of these presentations. They did a lot with COVID support, hacking, all of those things. And really anything Tom, Yadin, Caleroy, or Luis can think up, they help with behind the scenes. And you probably know a few of them. What does the intern gain from this? Well, they gain obviously international exposure, understanding of clinical engineering, project management, leadership experiences, and networking, all of those great things. And there's a link here if you want more information on the internship, you can go ahead and click there. Some of the preferred attributes for these folks, they need to be a student, an active student, either bachelor's, master's, or higher. Someone who really just has the know-how, the time and bandwidth to be able to do this. Also preferably to have an interest in public health or international health, or they likely wouldn't really be integrating with IFMBE too much. And an interest in medical devices and health information systems. So just people who are really passionate about health technology and want to learn. So wanted to take a quick moment to recognize, these are our current group of interns. So this is the 3rd class of interns. Samantha Alvarado from Mexico and Alejandro Zavala from Honduras. Thank you guys so much. And then our last class of interns was Dejel Ogarayo. She's from Ethiopia, but studying in Nigeria. And Urina Safi in Lebanon. And this group was especially special because they were at the beginning of COVID. So they were navigating their school and changes, as well as the changes in the world and this internship. So it was very interesting. And our inaugural group of interns was Amanda Frank and Logan Graham, both from the United States. And they were also a special group of people because they are actually both health or hospital administrators. So they really helped us get maybe a more global or broader view of clinical engineering and its role in the healthcare landscape. So I just want to take a quick moment to say thank you so much to all of our 3 classes, for all of our interns and everything they've been doing behind the scenes with IFMBE CED.
And global clinical engineering.
And GCEA. and
Jenna-
anything else Yadin wants them to do.
And Jenna, Amanda is here to show you
Yes.
how the loop is closing.
Yes.
And that's fantastic. And the program, the whole internship program is something you brought to the table. And we say we
It's all
don't
your
have,
fault.
It is.
we don't have guidelines, we don't have qualification criteria, we don't have candidate, what will, and you took care of all of that.
Yeah, it was great. You know, we talk about building capacity. We talk about giving young people a voice, or people who are learning a voice. Not everyone who's in school is young. And I think you can see by the diversity of our groups, there's a pattern because they're in similar time zones together, because it's a lot easier for them to work together. But it's really been a great endeavor.
And those are the issues that came up during the Global Clinical Engineering Summit we voted on. And one of them was lack of capacity building for allowing young clinical engineering to come in and intern with experienced clinical engineers. So Jenna, once again, thank you very, very much.
Yadin, a couple closing words about the Global Village, and then we're going to go to the keynote in a moment.
Absolutely. What I would like to close with, and I hope that you got the sense, is that there is energy here, there is enthusiasm, and there is passion. When I look here in the room and I see individuals that have businesses, have family, traveling and volunteering to be here to help the village of clinical engineering, that is showing a lot. That is showing compassion. That is showing dedication. That is showing purpose. So to all the clinical engineers out there, being midnight in Japan, or evening in Finland, or morning in North America or South America, I would like to tell you that Africa is included, whatever the time is there. I would like all of you to know that we have turned the corner and we are a recognized group. We are people with expertise and compassion and dedication. And therefore, today is going to be another very successful day that I'm looking forward to and share with you, and come back at the end of the Congress and see where do we go from here together. As I always said, together we can make it better. Thanks.
Thank you, Yadin. We're going to end this session and you'll go back to the lobby, but then please join the keynote. Thank you.
Morning. Morning. You dry?